On the road to recovery now tonight, all of our local jurisdictions have lifted mask requirements for outdoor activities. But depending on where you live, well, there still might be different levels of restrictions in place. Our Colby Satterfield breaks down what you need to know before going out.
Prince George's County is the latest jurisdiction to announce its plans to lift the mask mandate for people who are outside, following the guidance laid out by the CDC, as Montgomery County is too. Despite Maryland Governor Larry Hogan lifting the mask mandate for everyone, they're keeping rules in place for people who aren't vaccinated.
Just a little too quick.
Ron and Allison Maynard live in Montgomery County and weren't pleased with Maryland Governor Larry Hogan's decision to lift the outdoor mask mandate for both vaccinated and unvaccinated people.
I feel like it's kind of pandering a little bit to people's irritation.
Despite the governor moving forward, Montgomery and Prince George's counties are pumping the brakes, opting instead to follow the newly issued CDC outdoor mask guidance, which says fully vaccinated people do not have to wear a mask outside unless they're at a crowded outdoor event. Unvaccinated people still need to wear a mask at small outdoor gatherings and when dining outdoor with friends from other households, but don't have to wear it when they're exercising outdoors or attending small gatherings with vaccinated family and friends.
I'm kind of conflicted. I know everyone is not currently vaccinated, so I think that we probably shouldn't be so hasty to lift the mask order if we don't have to. But I also understand that it is a lot.
D.C. and Virginia also lifted its mask mandates to align with the CDC's direction for those who are vaccinated. Ron Maynard is one of those people. Despite being able to officially take his mask off outside in Montgomery County, he's leaving it on.
Just seems like a courtesy for others. And I think more people need to reach that vaccination level.
Again, when we're talking about vaccinated people, we're talking 2 weeks after your second COVID vaccine or 2 weeks after the Johnson & Johnson shot. In Montgomery County, Colby Satterfield, WUSA 9.